Welcome back to Finance with Simply Susan, where we simplify money so you can make smarter financial decisions. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to file your annual returns in Nigeria step by step, what documents you need, where to submit it, and how to avoid penalties. Let's get into it. Now, filing of individual tax returns is now compulsory for everyone who earns an income in Nigeria. This law is not new, but with the new tax reforms, the government is set to ensure that it is implemented. Ignorance is no longer an excuse, and failure to file now attracts strict penalties. It has always attracted strict penalties, but it was never implemented. But now the government intend to implement these penalties. Now, what we would learn in this video include what is an individual tax return, frequently asked questions, penalties and important dates, required documents for filing, how to get your taxpayer ID, how to file your annual returns, and how to claim a refund. We're starting with what is a tax return. Okay, now every year the government expects you to declare how much money you earned. That declaration is called a tax return. It is simply you telling the tax authority that this is how much I earned, these are my deductions, this is what I should pay or have paid. That's all. It's like submitting your yearly financial report card. The government can then calculate whether you still owe tax or whether you are entitled to a refund. It's that simple. Now let's look at some frequently asked questions regarding the annual tax return for individuals, right? Number one, who is required to file? All right. Now, every taxable individual is required to file. And the definition for a taxable person is if you are 18 years and above and you earn income in Nigeria, you must file. This includes salary earners, it includes contract staff, it includes self-employed individuals, it includes business owners and freelancers. Even if you earn zero income, yes, zero income, you must still file and declare a new income during your filing. All right. Now, the second question that people ask is, as an employee, do I still need to file? And the answer is yes. While individuals earning less than or equal to the minimum wage, now 70,000 naira monthly, are exempted from tax remittance. That is, they pay zero tax because of the new tax reforms. PAYE deduction does not replace filing. Yeah, so the answer is yes. As an employee, your employer will file an annual return. It's usually called Form H1, saying that this is how much I paid my entire staff, during the year. You as an employee will still have to file an individual annual return to the government saying that yes, this is how much I received from my employee during the year. Now, for employees that have other sources of income, this is the opportunity for you to inform the government that yes, this is how much my employer paid me during the year. But apart from that employment income, I also earned dividends, for example. I also earned freelancing income. I also earned rental income. I earned other income apart from my employment income. So this is the opportunity for you to inform the government. And for employees that earn minimum wage, you are exempted from tax. That is, you pay zero tax, but you will still inform the government that I earn income, but on that income, I pay zero tax. So yes, as an employee, whether you earn just employment income, whether you earn below minimum wage, whether you earn other sources of income, you will have to inform the government. All right. Now, number three is, where do I file my taxes? Filing are to be done through the relevant state internal revenue service e-portal. For example, in Lagos, you use LIRS, and that is the example we will be using in today's video. So for other states, you have to locate your state internal revenue service, and then you file online. For some states, I understand you may need to go to their office and file manually because their e-portal is not yet working very well. Although because of the new tax reforms, most of the state governments are trying to upgrade their e-portal. But yes, you can but yes, filing can be done through the relevant state internal revenue services e-portal. Number four is, what if my employer did not remit my deducted tax? Unfortunately, that is the case for some employers. They deduct your tax, but they don't remit it, or they remit it late, So these employers are committing a criminal offense under the Nigerian Tax Administration Act, 2025, and they pay penalties for it. Yes, if your employee does not remit your deduct your tax and does not remit it on time, there's a fine for that. But how does it affect you as an employee? It will affect your chances of getting your tax clearance certificate here, and unfortunately there's not much you can do about it. The law says you can report your employer anonymously, but how they intend to implement that and get your employer to pay your tax is not yet clear. So hopefully your employers will deduct and remit your tax as at when due. All right. So number five, will I pay tax if I have no income? And the answer is no. Generally, you will not pay personal income tax in Nigeria if you have no taxable income, because taxes are only imposed on gains, profits, or salary. So as at 2026, individuals earning the minimum wage or less, or generally below 800,000 naira per year, will not pay personal income tax, but must file an annual tax return. Okay. So you are required to file annual tax returns even if you have no income or are unemployed, to formally declare your status to the relevant tax authority. Failing to file returns, regardless of whether tax is due or not, is regarded as a tax offense. So the answer is, if you have no income, no, you will not pay tax, but yes, you will still file an annual tax return telling the government that you do not have any income, as long as you're 18 years and above and you're living in Nigeria. Okay. Then what are the benefits of filing tax returns in Nigeria? For the benefits, that is the benefit to the taxable person, that's the benefit to you that is filing. Okay. Number one is legal compliance. So it helps you to avoid penalties from the FIRS. Number two, that is the only way, the process you need to follow in order to get your tax clearance certificate. You have to file your annual returns with the government before they issue you the tax clearance certificates. All right. Then number three, it allows individuals and businesses to claim refunds for excess tax paid. So if you pay excess tax, the only way you can get a refund is by filing your annual tax return. All right. And the fourth benefit is that it gives you access to claim your tax relief on items like your rent reliefs, your insurance premium relief, your mortgage interest relief. So one of the ways of claiming this relief is when you file your annual tax return. All right. Now let's look at some um, important dates and penalties. Now you must file your returns on or before 31st of March every year. So for 2025, you file the returns in 2026. Now failure to file is 100,000 naira in the first month, then 50,000 naira in subsequent months. Now filing of wrong or false declaration also attracts the same fine. You must file on or before 31st of March every year. So now let's go to the Lagos State's government e-portal, and let me show you how to file your personal income tax return step by step. Okay. Now, step one is you confirm your tax authority, as we have said. So if you live in Lagos, you are going to file with the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. If you don't live in Lagos, you will file with your state internal revenue service. Filing in the wrong state is a common mistake and it will delay compliance. Okay. Then you need to register if you do not already have a taxpayer ID. The first step is to register. Go to LIRS eTax and click on register as a taxpayer. You will be required to provide your BVN or NIN, your date of birth, your phone number, and email address. If you are an employee, it is best to use your personal email address, not your office email. This will prevent issues later if you change employment. Click I am not a robot, then proceed and follow the prompts to complete your registration. Now, if you already have a taxpayer ID, simply log in with your taxpayer ID and password. If you have forgotten your password, click forget password and follow the prompts to reset it. Now, once you log in, you will see your profile page. You will also see a toolbar on the left side of the screen. If you want to calculate your tax, click on Assessments. Select the year of assessment, then fill in your income for that year. This may include income from trade, employment income, or benefits in kind. Any other income that you have earned within the assessment year. Only complete the sections that applies to you. If you have any tax reliefs, then add them. Reliefs help reduce your tax liability. If you have any withholding tax credits, you should also include them. Once you have entered all the relevant information, click Calculate. The system will automatically compute your tax due. Once you know your tax due, the next step is payment. So you click on Payments, go to Generate Bill, click on Agency, that's the tax office that you registered with. Go to Select Revenue, here you put Direct Assessment. Then you choose the currency, here we're picking Naira, and then you put the dates, which is from the beginning of the year. If it's 2025, beginning of the year 2025, that's from January to 31st of December. If it's a one-off payment, you just click this box and put the date of that particular tax you are paying. But if not, you choose, it must not exceed the 31st of December of the year of assessment. Then you put the tax amount here. Let's say it's 100,000 naira. That's the tax due, which you calculated under assessment. So you put that amount here and then you click on Generate. Sorry, this is 2026. That's why it's giving me that error message. So it has to be within the year of assessment, 31st December. Yeah. And then you click Generate, right? So this is your information for your direct assessment, and you're going to pay 100,000 naira. Click on Proceed, and then it will take you to where you would put in all your information and then you would pay. You can click on pay now if you want to pay using this reference number, and then you pay your tax. If you want to generate another bill, you click here and then you generate another bill. Now let us move to filing your annual returns, which is the main reason we are here. Click on returns. You will see two options, my tax returns and employer returns. Click on my tax returns, then file, then select file returns. We are currently in 2026, so we are filing returns for 2025. Click on 2025. Please note that to obtain your tax clearance certificate, you must file returns for 3 years. In this case, 2023, 2024, and 2025. Now, under gross annual income, enter your income for the selected year. If you're a business owner, enter your trade income. If you're an employee, enter your salary or employment income. If you're a pensioner, enter your pension or gratuity for the year. Although pension income is exempt, you are still required to file your return. You should also include any other sources of income, right? Now, you may also need to upload supporting documents such as your pay slip for the year, your dividend certificates or investment certificates if you earned dividends or interest. Then you click next, which is your mandatory disclosure of accommodation. Fill in all the required details. However, the end date must be the end of the assessment year. For example, if you paid your rent in March, the accommodation period should be March to December of that year. You cannot overlap the years. Next is your support staff. If you have domestic staff such as driver, nanny, or house help, you can disclose that information here. Then we have assets, which include vehicle, farmland, real estate, or other major assets as listed here. So you click on the assets and fill in the required information. Then we move to reliefs and eligible deductions. Then we move to relief and eligible deductions. These deductions will help you reduce your tax liability. Click on add relief, then you go through the reliefs one after the other and select the ones that relate to you. If you have contributed for life insurance policy in the year under review, click yes. Fill in the relevant information. That's the name of the insurance company, the policy name, the premium payments, and then click here to attach evidence of insurance relief, either your policy document or your payment document. This is for you and your spouse. It is allowed for you and your spouse, all right? Fill in your policy, attach your policy documents. You can attach the certificates of insurance. You can attach the receipts of payments. Okay, now if you have contributed to National Health Insurance Scheme, you would say yes, and then you also fill in the required information and attach the required policy documents. If you have contributed to National Pension Scheme, you will put in your retirement savings accounts, you put it here, and then your PFA, that's your pension fund administration, your pension fund administrator, sorry, you put the name here, and then your total contribution for the year will be stated here. Then you come to this choose file, and then you attach your RSA statement for the year. You can get that from your PFA, that's your pension fund administrator. For example, if you Stanbic IBTC, you can request from them to give you that statement, and then you attach it here. This will help you to this relief would help you to reduce your tax liability. So it's important that you fill this part. If you pay interest on owner occupied accommodation, you click yes, right? And then you fill in the information, your primary mortgage institution, your capital sum mortgage, and total interest you pay for the year. Remember, this is for your place of residence. The owner occupied accommodation must be for your primary place of residence. That means you must be living in that accommodation which you collected mortgage to buy or build. Then you need to also attach supporting documents here, which include utility bill for the resident and then a bank statement reflecting mortgage deductions. Now, if there are other reliefs that are not included here, you click on add and then you add them. For example, your rent relief, you can include that. That is new in this 2026. You include your rent relief. I'm sure it will be available for next year, but this is for 2025, and as at 2025 there was no rent relief. So you include your rent relief and attach your receipts for the rent payment or your rent agreement. Okay, once you have completed all sections, click review. This allows you to check everything you have entered. You can also edit any section if you made a mistake. And once you are satisfied that everything is correct, click submit to file your tax return. Now, accuracy matters. Over or under declaration can trigger audit. So you don't want to do that. Please be truthful in declaring your income. Now, once you submit, the system will auto calculate the tax due. All right. If you have paid, if the tax you pay is equal to what the system calculates, then it will give you a filing acknowledgement. But if it is not, it will show you how much you still need to pay, right? So what you will do is you pay online and generate an assessment notice. So after that, once you pay and generate the assessment notice, you will get your filing acknowledgement and then a tax receipt. Okay. So once you get this filing acknowledgement and tax receipt, you can come back and download your tax clearance certificate within the next 48 hours, right? Yeah. Now, finally, we're going to look at the steps you need to take to claim a refund. Now, if you overpaid your tax, it will also show you during this auto calculation time, and then you can go ahead and claim a refund for the overpayment. Now, the first step, that's if you overpaid your tax. Now, the first step is you fill the refund application. Is an application form that you would fill claiming the claiming that you've paid your tax by X amount and you need a refund. You will now attach supporting documents to show how come you overpaid that tax, and then you will now submit it through this portal. This is where you're gonna do that. Yes, and then you wait for review. Once the review is concluded, you would receive your refund. It will be credited into your account. Part of the review is you put in your account details. Yeah. So once the review is completed, the money, the excess tax paid will be refunded back into your account. Yeah, and that's it for today. Now, I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please subscribe to this video and share with someone who needs to see it. And please let me know in the comment section if you have filed your tax returns before, or if this is your first time filing an annual tax return, or if you have any issues in filing your annual tax returns. Let me know in the comment section and let's talk about it. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.